And now we are recording. Okay. Let's let Troy get going. Give us a report from THPRD, please.
Okay. Is this everyone here, the ones I'm seeing on the screen? Or is there other people?
Okay. It is at the moment.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, it's been a while. Good seeing you guys again. A lot has changed at THPRD since we were together last, as says, a lot of things in the world. But unfortunately, THPRD was pretty heavily affected by the COVID pandemic, and financially, we were thrust into a pretty bad position. Had to make a lot of significant moves. We ended up laying off a lot of our workforce, had to shut down a lot of our centers, and have really just been kind of working to adjust since then. The good news is that we're on the upswing, and we have, I think, adjusted well, and we're starting to kind of work to get some of our stuff reopened. And that is going good. And I wanted to give you guys an update on that in terms of what is open. And the facilities that we currently have open is Conestoga Rec Center, the Athletics Center out at 158th and Walker Road, the Tennis Center, the Cedar Hills Rec Center, the weight and fitness rooms are open. Those are reservations required. The Aquatic Center and the Conestoga Pool are open for lap swim and water fitness. That's by reservation as well. I guess the good news during a lot of this was that our parks did remain open, and they ended up being, I think, for folks, that it was a real outlet for people to be able to get out in the parks and just get out in the open space and get exercise and fresh air and actually kind of a little sense of normalcy. We did have to close some of the amenities, as you guys probably know, per the governor's orders. We had to close down the playgrounds and the tennis courts, and all that was us following the rules of the order. So as those loosened up and we were able to open things back up, we did that immediately. And we're continuing to do that with our facilities as well. But, keep your eye on the website. We're slowly offering more opportunities in the district to volunteer, opportunities for events. We just offered a couple drive-in movie events that went well. So really keep an eye on that. It's changing a lot, and I wish I had all the information for you on those things, but unfortunately, a lot of them are getting put together pretty quickly, and the adjustments are happening quickly. So, with that said, is there any questions for me about what's been going on with the district?
Well, I've got a question. Can you hear me?
I can. Yep.
Yeah. So, are those people? Are they fired? Are they going to be able to come back?
Well, it was a combination. There was folks that were furloughed. And some of those have been brought back. There's others that just had to be laid off due to projecting when the facility was going to open or their job was going to be needed again. If it was forecasted to not be needed for a ways down the road, unfortunately, that position was laid off oftentimes.
Well, my specific question is about the tennis center.
Uh-huh.
That's closed. All the people that work there are gone. Yeah.
And it did reopen, the tennis center.
But not without any of the leadership they normally had. The director and.
Well, the gentleman that was in charge of that for a long time, Brian Leahy, he was part of the layoff.
So was he gone for good?
As far as I know, I don't know the intricacies of all the personnel moves.
Yeah.
As far as I know, he is, and I don't know how they've kind of backfilled the leadership of that position. I wish I could tell you, but there was so much going on, as you guys probably are aware in your own worlds, that my focus really became kind of on my department hyper focused on it, making sure we were able to kind of do what we needed to do. And I wasn't as in tune with what was going on in other parts of the district at that time. And the communication was tough as well.
So what's your department?
The maintenance department. I oversee all the maintenance operations on the south side of the park district.
I mean, buildings and land?
Parks. The buildings is a separate division, but
You're in charge of
all
all
the parks and athletic fields.
Oh, wow.
You're set for a while. I mean,
Okay.
What's that, Carl?
you're set for a while. I mean, they got to keep those parks in place, at least, you know, until things get straightened out.
I feel good that we played a really valuable role in kind of keeping things where they should be with a real limited amount of resources and just a lot of uncertainty. So I do feel pretty good about that.
Good. Good. Yeah, when you come back, I can't believe you're going to be you're going to have a smaller crew for everything's going to be limited when you guys come back.
Yeah, it's going to be a slow rebuild, and we are working very shorthanded, but we're making the best of it. I feel like our standards in our parks have not reflected the downsizing like they could. I think the folks are still doing a pretty good job of keeping things where they need to be.
Good. We love
Cool.
THPRD.
Well, thank you.
Yes, we do.
Yeah, you're doing a great job, Troy. We appreciate it.
Thank you. Any other questions for me?
Alrighty then, next month,
Yeah.
in case, you know,
There'll be better news.
things change a little bit. We'll get a little update.
I'll be bringing better news each time I come.
Cool.
Did you guys want me to, do you want me to hang around, or am I free to go, or I'm
Yeah,
not
you're
really
free to
sure.
go.
Okay.
All right.
You guys have a good night. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Now we got a BCCI update from Terry Lawler.
Come on, Terry.
All righty. Well, we have we had our last meeting, September 28th, in which we were gearing up for the voters forum. I don't know if anybody tapped into that on what was it, October 14th or something like that.
I thought about it very seriously.
Well, you can still check it out. I mean, they have Miles can confirm this. I think there's a video feed from the city's website regarding the voter forum. So you can watch it whenever you want.
That's recorded, yeah.
And they're also playing it on TVC TV, which there's a list of times and dates in which the recording is available in from that format. Anyway, it was very successful. We had the mayor's race, we had the city council race, and we had the Washington County Board of Commissioners race for District 1, which doesn't cover our area. It would be the West Beaverton, Central Beaverton area. And so anyway, that was a very successful event, even though it was virtual. And I'll just update you on another project that I'm spearheading on behalf of my role as the land use chair for our subcommittee, land use subcommittee of BCCI. And we are just starting out on a project where we are collecting useful information to be housed on the neighborhood website for NACs to tap into when they have development proposals in their neighborhood. And with our experience with the West Sylvan athletic fields, I think I have lots of good materials that I've collected on behalf of our neighborhood and the way we've commented and our experiences, which I think have been all things considered, relatively successful in the outcomes that, the school district was responsive to some of our needs. Of course, the project is going to move forward, we think, well, of course, if they get funding. But anyway, I think we've learned some valuable lessons, and we're going to be housing those lessons in addition to what other neighborhoods have collected as a resource base for NACs to tap into in the future. So we're just going to start, we're going to have a Zoom meeting right before our BCCI meeting this coming Monday. So that's where we'll have our kind of kickoff meeting. And it's going to be an ongoing project, but if anybody has any thoughts or considerations, we'd love to hear from you. And I think I have a lot of the materials, but I may be tapping into you, Chris, or you, Dieter, if there are some materials that I'm missing from my collection on our project. But anyway, it's just meant to be a resource for NACs when they have development in their neighborhood.
Well, speaking of that project, there's this gal named Heidi that was supposed to be here tonight, or her boss. And as of 7:15, they haven't shown up. And they were supposed to show up and give us an update on what's going on with that athletic field. And she basically was going to come tell us that nothing is going on.
Nothing what?
Nothing. Then that's the update. But people need to hear that. You got to hear it from the people that are, asking for more money and for bond issues, and they got to let you know that actually that project might be either dead in the water or not funded for now because they need to save their money for things that are quote unquote more important. Like making sure that school stays funded while kids are not going to school, because that's where all the tax money goes. It's and so I was hoping they would show up and maybe give us more of an explanation, but we'll see.
So nothing's
Hey,
going.
Terry,
Nothing's going forward right now.
Yeah, well. Hey, Terry, this is Chris. I just I was muted when I tried to talk before. I'm happy to talk to you more about your project, but I was going to ask you, what is BCCI?
It is thank you for asking. Good question. I think I have a tendency to gloss over acronyms, so I apologize for that. It is the Beaverton Committee for Community Involvement. And fundamentally what it is this neighborhood selects a member every November.
And we chose Terry.
And this individual represents our neighborhood with this group comprised of all neighborhoods of the city, and there are some at-large members. And so it's just a way to talk about, it's a way for the city to talk to their neighborhood representatives, kind of give them a heads up as to what's going on and with respect to new ordinances or city actions. For example, we were also updated on the recruitment for the new city manager, because as you may recall, we passed a charter amendment in May, which fundamentally rejiggers the entire structure of Beaverton's governance. And they will be hiring a city manager who will be like the executive director effectively of the city. And there will be a mayor and six other councilors, how many total miles will there be of council? 5 or 6?
6.
6, okay. So anyway, so that's what BCCI is, and it's a neat opportunity. If anybody is interested, we will be holding an election in another month, correct, Carl?
She says that.
I was just going to get to that.
Okay, so yes. Did that answer your question?
Yes, it did. Thank you. And I think that's a great idea. I mean, I know that Naomi and I spent a lot of time, and Miles provided some great resources, but we spent a lot of time preparing the testimony, just like searching and looking for stuff and trying to figure out who to talk to and how to say it. So I think that could be really helpful, especially if NACs talk to each other about it and share experiences about what worked and what didn't work.
Yeah, and have a repository of some, like a comment letter that kind of highlights the important facts and factoids that need to be cited. And in our appeal, for example, that we needed to know that you can only, if you have a multiple items on your application, you have to pick one for your appeal, because otherwise you have to pay multiple times for to appeal every item. And so how to focus on the one that will give you the most bang for the buck. Those kind of lessons learned, I think, are what I'm looking for too, to kind of, again, put this as best practices for NACs to use in the future.
Okay, well, I'll be happy to talk to you about that, whatever I can remember. It's receding into the future.
Yes, that's why I need to tap into you really quick. No, but I'm sure it'll all come flowing back when you have the paperwork in front of you. So thank you very much for that offer. I'll take you up on it.
I don't know if anyone else knew, but
Hey, as long as we got Chris on the line, that means we have a quorum. I have something to propose, because October is normally the month where we nominate candidates for our group. And then November we vote on them, but usually we do it both at the same time. So I have two propositions. Either we vote in everybody that's already in place, including Mr. Slack, Mr.
Yes.
Leubner, Mr. Swenson, Ms. Lawler, and our bloody treasurer, Mr. Wolfgang, and Jerry Denson. And either we vote right now and keep everything as it is, or we put it off until we can have a live meeting. And who knows when that'll happen. We don't have to necessarily vote in. We can amend our neighborhood charter, for instance, to say, yeah, we're just not going to have the election right now on schedule, or we do the election now and just put it off for a year, and then we'll take care of it then.
Well, several people aren't here, so we can't speak for them. Like Ken might not want to be the treasurer anymore. And
Would
Terry
you like
might not want to be the BCCI rep.
Would you like to carry on as vice?
No. I'm just saying we table it.
What does that mean? Table?
Well, I mean, like, if we don't have to do it now,
Right.
let's wait till we're live.
Okay.
That's my opinion.
I guess my thought is, why not do it now? I mean, we don't know when we're going to be live.
That's true.
And I think maybe it's a good idea to, in October, ask for recruits. We may, that is to assure that the Dentons are still want to be on board.
Well, I'm sure Jerry does, yeah.
And whether Ken Wolfgang wants to do treasurer duties or not. We can take this next month to kind of verify that. And if we do have a slate, I mean, I'll be happy to be on BCCI, but if somebody else wants to do it, I'm happy to. I've been doing it for a long time, and I'm happy to have if somebody else wants to do it.
Well, you set the bar too high.
What do you think, Dieter? You want to stay on as a board member, or would you like to move up?
Yeah, no, actually, there's a couple of things I want to say. Yes, I would want to stay on as a board member because I love working with you guys, and I believe that we ought to give ourselves a chance to go back to the neighborhood and ask people who might want to step forward. could be a few guys that might be interested in a role. So I would second Ken's suggestion to table it or maybe push it back a month and see if we can come up with the same or a modified slate of candidates.
Because this is a pretty poor showing tonight.
Okay, Chris, what about you? You want to stay on as a board member?
Yeah, I'll stay on as a board member. That's fine.
Cool. All right.
You know, I have a thought. You know, we don't post these meetings anymore out in the streets. And,
true.
you
Yeah.
know, maybe there's a need to put a sign out and say, call it, you know, contact the city to be a participant in the Zoom call or somehow to communicate the fact that we're having a meeting. And I think the signs were effective in
I agree.
notifying people.
So can we change those signs?
Sure, there is a way to do that.
I was thinking about it today, exactly.
Well,
Well,
not
Carl,
our job, isn't it?
Yeah.
I offered to, go back to our constituents in the email list that we've used, and also ask the West Slope Improvement League if they could, go back to their list like a week before we meet next time and communicate the technical aspects, where to log on and where to find the information and the agenda. This time around, it was a little bit too short, but I do believe that we need to reach out to the people directly. Otherwise, we will probably never get, the interest that we hope to get for our agenda and get people to contribute, which, as you have seen with the sports field upgrade, it always comes down to boots on the ground. And there were quite a few people who have indicated that they would like to, if they've been asked, that they might want to contribute. And that should be good for the neighborhood.
I agree. But we need people that are going to be around even when there's not a big ticket item like the football
Right.
field.
Exactly.
We do talk about boring stuff too. Yeah.
Hey, Miles, I have a question for Miles. How do the other NACs do it? Are any of them having success getting online attendance to these meetings? And if so, how do they do it?
Oh, good question.
They are. There's a way to think about the neighborhood meetings themselves. They're a board meeting, so the board gets together to meet. It's great when you have other people, attendees, come and participate and learn and build community. But it's kind of like if you watch a city council meeting, you have 6 people representing 100,000 people.
Mm-hmm.
And there's maybe 2 or 3 people in the audience, right? When you have kind of a NAC board, I like to think of it, it's like a neighborhood council. So you have your board members, your 5, 10, 15, kind of representing the interests of the larger group.
Yeah.
I think Dieter's right. The personal ask goes really far with people. That's the number one way to get more participation, is to ask your neighbors to come with you or to log on. We can get the signs changed or order new ones if we can't get those ones changed, and put the date and the time and the website in great big letters. And if they just get to the website, which is beavertonoregon.gov/westslope, they can get online. They can get to the meeting. So
Also,
I think,
oh, sorry. Finish up.
yeah, I just think the signs, I think, have worked really well in your neighborhood in the past, because it's such a small neighborhood, and it reminds people like, oh yeah, I meant to go to that. I think if we make it really simple, that people driving by will be able to remember, oh, the city website, West Slope, that's where I live.
Well, that's a good point. I mean, because we have those beautiful sandwich board signs. We need something to go on top of them. But also, I think maybe if we could advertise each meeting with kind of our marquee guest, if you will. You know, like something like when we talked about the football field or baseball field, whatever you want to call it, that was a big ticket item. If we
Right.
could, you know, if we had, you know, sometimes we don't have big ticket items, but it'd be nice if we had something we could, you know, individualize each meeting.
I can look into it. I can talk to the sign company and see what they recommend.
Yeah, more interest. We need more interest.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea.
All right.
And our signs are set up that they have a slot where you could, you know, where we would change the address when it went to the fire department. And so we do have a slot, I don't know, it's like 3 inches wide where we could put this Zoom meeting in, or, you know, what. So, I mean, we do have the facility with our existing signs to maybe make them more responsive to today's needs.
Ken Wolfgang bought all those signs.
With our money, yeah.
And so therefore he knows where to get them made. That's what I was going to bring up also.
Yeah,
You said
I have places to get them made.
perfect to have them with the Velcro on the back,
Yes.
and then you put them up, and then we'll just put up and down the street and get some people online, because I don't see anybody tonight.
I just love to have,
Is there like other people listening besides the board members right now?
Not right now.
That's what I thought. That's
Yeah.
the way it was last month.
well,
But
here-
other neighborhoods have had success getting people to attend the virtual meeting that aren't board members. There'll be like a list of people listening in. If people who aren't board members call in, they can ask questions still, and they can, participate.
Miles, when are you going to post the recorded product?
It takes a couple of days.
Okay, so we could theoretically send out a note to our neighborhood by email, just the old fashioned way, and say, hey, we did have a meeting, and please log on to XYZ. It's probably going to be on YouTube, I assume.
It is. It'll also be on your webpage. You can watch it right there.
Yeah, great. So let's do that. And
We tell people to, come join us on November 17th.
exactly.
but ideally, it'd be nice if we had something big. We had something to tease the people.
Yeah, well, elect the board members, for instance.
Well, that's
Okay, so you want to wait till next month to elect, because we need to get that done.
what I would say.
Okay. Why?
You know, I think a lot of people would respond to having Portland Public Schools show up. I don't know what the deal was this time, if they promised and they didn't, or they just said maybe, but if that could be on the sandwich boards, and if we were pretty sure they really were going to show up, I think a lot of people would be interested in hearing a follow-up on what's going on.
That's
Yeah,
what
she
I'm talking
said
about.
they'd be here, either Heather or her boss. I'm disappointed they didn't. They're nice people, but I'm sure
Yeah,
they're
well, maybe
really busy.
maybe something came up.
Things always well.
Maybe something came up, but I mean, if you or Miles could talk to him again and get a firm commitment for next month, that might be a draw for other people to join the meeting.
Oh, you know what? Well, if you get any questions from your neighbors about this whole situation with PPS, they were going to show up and say nothing. They were going to say there is no future commitment to any kind of improvement at this point. So they were going to say that the whole project and everything else is on hold. But I told her, well, we need you to show up and say that. If you're not planning on spending money and you're not planning on bugging our neighbors and doing all the stuff you guys had in mind, it'd be nice for them to hear that. And that's what I was hoping to hear tonight.
And there's some follow-up questions on that too. I mean, maybe they're saying it's on hold now and they're hoping to get the 2020 bond measure passed or some other source of funding. And I'd like to hear from them, okay, why is it on hold, and is it on hold for, how long, and what would it take to get it off of hold, or is it really seriously just not going to happen? I mean, I think your point's good, Carl, that, you know, people do need to hear it from them, but I think there's some follow-up questions people might want to ask too.
I agree.
Well, their response is going to be, well, we didn't anticipate the COVID epidemic, and therefore all our money is being diverted to other projects and actually keeping all the rest of our schools and everything else just alive rather than improving things. They need to keep their money in hand. And basically they're going to say, yeah, I mean, we can't make any plans right now until things get cleared up, because once again, they're not, if there's no students in classes, they're not getting the reimbursement from the federal government and or the state for any kind of, student enrollment, which is what most schools rely on, if I'm not mistaken. And therefore, they need to wait. And that's why they're probably not here tonight. They're probably didn't have a chance to correlate a response to questions like yours that most of us would be asking them right now.
But we have a deadline. Chris, if you would remind us, please, what is the deadline for this particular project? It's like June 2022 to get started?
Well, the 2-year clock, I don't remember exactly when it was. It was sometime around then. And basically, if they don't get started by then, they have to redo, and correct me if I'm wrong, Miles, but they have to redo the whole permit if they don't start within 2 years.
Yep, it starts over.
They can ask for an extension, but yeah.
Yeah, but
But
yeah,
Why would they take it slowly? Because of money, right?
Right.
Yeah. Gotcha.
Well,
So,
I think it's important for them to say that. And, you know, if they're going to make some excuse about why they have any money, then should come out of their mouth. And maybe if it's explained to them that we are putting them on the agenda and we're expecting a big crowd or whatever, somehow put them on the hook that they think that they do need to show up, then maybe that will, at least they'll come up with a story about whatever it is they're going to say about the future of the fields. But I think they owe us at least a 10-minute Zoom call. I mean,
I agree.
they didn't ask us when they were planning it, and they probably won't be asking us when they're canceling it. It's pretty consistent, if you ask me. But yes, absolutely. I totally support that.
can I ask a quick question? Do the kids in your neighborhood go to Portland Public Schools, or do they go to Beaverton School District?
Well, in public.
It's funny, we are Washington County, but that's the only middle school that feeds into Portland.
Okay.
actually, I'm in Beaverton. My block,
Oh, you are already.
my block on Gale Lane is in Beaverton.
Really?
85th Avenue is the split.
So
Yeah.
what so they go to Raleigh Park?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So one thought that I have is I always find it useful to go to the elected official who represents you, so your Portland Public School board member, and ask them to show up and talk about it.
Yeah.
We've had her before. Was it Amy Colstam, I think her name is? She's still on the school board.
Yes, that's correct. Well done.
I've got a good memory, I guess. Sometimes I
But
remember.
she's not elected.
She's not elected?
No, yeah. She's a hired
Hired.
manager.
Maybe we should get an elected person. That's a good idea.
Well, we gotta wait for a few weeks, don't we? See who's in place.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, good point.
Yeah.
Did you guys have a school board election?
I don't think so. I didn't see that on my ballot.
So that person must not be up for a re-election.
Yeah.
So you should
once
give it
again, we all know, yeah, we're in Portland Public School District, but we pay, well, actually, yeah, taxes go to both districts. If I'm not
Do
mistaken.
they? You sure we go to both?
Well, I mean, it's only a Portland Middle School, so we all pay for
And it's a Portland
Lincoln
Elementary
also?
too.
Okay, never mind.
Yeah, they go to Portland
So
Elementary
yeah,
too.
so all our property taxes that are for education in public schools go to PPS,
Except Terry's.
not Beaverton.
Terry.
But a big portion of them go to Beaverton for public maintenance and all the other fun stuff, right? All right.
That's confusing.
So, yeah, we have a lot of new young people in the neighborhood, and if their kids go to public schools, that is the driver for them to be here. That's because it feeds into the Portland public schools.
I agree.
It feeds into West Sylvan and then Lincoln. So I think it would be very important for us to get somebody to commit to join our meeting next month. And I can guarantee you we will have an audience.
But here's another thing, speaking of that, I think it would behoove us, just like we have an ongoing person from Tualatin Hills, from TVF&R, from THPRD, I think it would behoove us to have a designated person from PPS.
Yes, that
That
was
would be
the
nice.
You're
plan.
right, man.
That's
You
the
know.
plan.
Not a principal necessarily, but somebody that, has their finger on the pulse of.
No, I'm sorry. I had them lined up, and I thought
I
they were
believe
going
you,
to
I
be
believe
here
you.
tonight, but unfortunately, things happen and they didn't make it. On the
Miles,
other hand,
is that common in other school districts or in other parts of this other NACs to have the school district represented similarly to the police and THPRD?
Miles,
You're muted.
You're muted.
No, and at least for the Beaverton School District, they're not big on interacting with other groups.
That's rude.
They're pretty insular. I would say Sexton Mountain this month has their school board member coming to the meeting, and I imagine that's going to draw some people out to
Okay.
talk about. So I really think it's worth your time to figure out who your elected official is and invite them, because they can provide answers and give them some background, like, hey, this is what we want you to talk about.
do we even have a school board?
What, Carl?
Do we even have a school board for West Sylvan Middle School?
No. I think in the PPS school board.
That's
I don't know
right.
if there's
So
a
anybody we could get to come out to talk about Middle Sylvan and Lincoln High would have to come from Portland.
Exactly.
Come up here to Beaverton to talk about a Portland school.
Well, that's just the way it is. Yeah.
Here's a question for
Good luck with
Chris.
that.
Here's a question for Chris. You did have interactions with the Portland School District during our appeal. Would that be a worthwhile contact to invite?
Well, it was Heidi, and that's the person who Miles did invite. So,
Okay.
Heidi's
yeah,
supposed to
it's
be
not
here.
a different person.
Okay. I thought
Heidi,
it-
and then I guess I forgot the director of athletics. Anyway, although those were the two. They attended the hearings. They were on there.
Heidi Bertman, pardon me.
Yeah, Heidi.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't have additional contacts aside from that.
Okay. Yeah. So Heidi, yeah, you mentioned that she was on that list. Okay.
Is it Lincoln High School that they're coming up from?
It's exactly right. It goes
Okay.
actually, the elementary is Bridal Mile. The middle school is West Sylvan, and the high school, the pure feeder would be Lincoln.
Well, and I think that these two individuals are associated with the PPS headquarters. I think they have more regional responsibilities.
I agree.
So I don't think they're associated with a particular school.
Yeah.
All right. If you guys can see the chat, I can email it to everybody too, but there's your elected official
Amy.
Portland Public Schools, her email, and you're zone 3.
Yeah, she's been here before. And in fact,
Yeah.
I think she lives in this neighborhood. I want to say she does. I think she told us that when she came to our meeting in the cafeteria.
Right? Maybe.
What do you mean maybe? I was there.
Oh, it was so long ago, I can't remember. So anyway, so what our goal would be to address the athletic field situation in the future is to find out what the funding's about. That's why I tried to get Heidi in tonight. And then part 2 would be maybe to get an actual a member of the Portland Public Schools board.
My recommendation,
In,
my recommendation is go straight to the top, go right to the elected official. I'm
And I've
serious.
seen Amy's name.
I
I've
like
seen
that.
Amy's name on a lot of the funding stuff, so she knows what the funding deal is and the planning. I mean, I saw her name on a lot of documents, so I think she knows as much as Heidi does.
Amy?
Amy, yeah.
Oh, yeah, she does.
And she's a decision maker, right? So Heidi's not a decision maker. She's an implementer, but Amy's a decision maker.
Ooh, good way to put it.
What was that?
I say she's your money candidate for the November
Right.
agenda.
Sure.
She's our headliner.
That's right, she's it. Goes up in lights.
That's what
17.
we can do.
It's going to be on the marquee.
Yeah, exactly. School board member will be speaking. And I don't want the school board member to talk to 4 people. That's embarrassing.
And I'll just tell her there's 100 people listening in.
No, you just tell her she's going to be on every sandwich board. So
There you go.
that's got to make the difference. Good.
That would be nice.
And what was Amy's last name again, please?
Carl, I'll email it to you right now.
Okay, that'd be great. Cool. I like emails. All right. Okay, let's get down to specifics about our neighborhood, if anybody has a moment. Who else has seen a coyote? Miles,
You don't even live here.
you haven't seen any coyotes?
I've seen coyotes.
People right behind my house saw a pack of 4 just last week.
Well,
Have you heard about the ones in Austin, Texas? They're city coyotes now. They live in the city. They're not coming in visiting. They live there now.
Oh, I know. No. I used to work up on Forest Hills, Forest Heights, up in there, up towards that big park up there and everything. And they would just walk right down the middle of the street during the middle of the day. But that was a long time ago. Anyway, so yeah, I noticed all my wild bunnies have gone missing, and people keep posting on Nextdoor about poodles and cats that are missing. Anyway, so, and then my wife went to work about a month ago, and there was 2 coyotes right in the middle of 75th, just down the street. And
I think they'll be coming to our November meeting too. We'll get some board members.
You should have representation. You're part of the hood.
the
Yeah.
opposing view. Okay.
How many orange cats did you eat last month?
there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, which one tastes better? All right, and then I had a chance to talk to the ODOT crew. Came through, and they're looking at they're cleaning up a lot of tagging up and down the bike path between my
Right.
house and your house, Terry. Up in, because people have been tagging that bridge and stuff more, both bridges, and then fortunately they don't tag the wall where all the ivy is, because
Yeah.
that would be really hard to clean, you know what I mean? But whereas they're cleaning that stuff up, so they came through and they asked me about what's going on. I said, well, hey, when you gonna get around to cleaning the other side of this wall over here where a guy's campground he used to live there 3 or 4 years ago, and there's also a dead deer carcass. Somebody shot it, and they cut the head off and then threw the carcass over the wall, and it's been sitting there for like 6 months now. And so I have to walk every time I see an ODOT truck. I have to walk them back there. It's not something I really feel like doing because it was a pretty big deer. Anyway, so they said, yeah, we'll get on it. And they keep telling me that over and over. And that's why I might have to really bug them, get somebody from ODOT to come out and talk to us about what's going on. Because you guys, did you ever check out your email? Excuse me, it was a snail mail that said they're going to shut everything down east and west 26 at night. So somebody's seen this, right? I forget
No.
when it is. It's like either later this year or the first thing in the
No, next year to repave.
That's what I thought.
Hey, slow down. They're gonna do what?
They're
They're gonna
shut
repave
down
26.
both sides
What's wrong? 26 is
time
deal.
in order to repave and do stuff.
What's wrong with 26? It was just, it's
They're
relatively
gonna
new.
repave.
They just did it when they built the wall.
Well,
Yeah, but that's substrate. They want to put the noise canceling asphalt down.
Oh, really?
Hey,
Yeah.
I'm all for that.
Oh, I'm all for that.
Yeah.
Well, it's going to happen at between 2 and 5 a.m. every night
Starting when?
for a while.
I think it's, if I remember correctly, in June, but don't quote me on that.
Yeah.
Okay. It's only
Anyway.
3 hours a night. I can live with that.
That's coming up in our neighborhood, in case you figure it out.
That'd be good to have at a meeting. Yeah. Yeah.
Just let more people know instead of the 5 of us, or excuse me, the 4 of us. Miles
I'm
doesn't
optimistic.
count.
I'm not like Terry. I'm optimistic. I need contact with people.
Okay, so all right. Anything else? All right. So we decided we're going to have our election next month.
Yeah, all 5 of us.
I'm running for president again, but if somebody wants to challenge me, you are more than welcome. Please do.
You sound like Terry.
I'll let you win.
No term limits, Carl.
No term limits.
But I could still be a board member.
And we can't impeach. We don't have the power to impeach either.
Sorry.
Yeah.
It's
for life. Like
No
a,
term limits.
Don't tell Trump, though. He might come.
no.
He might challenge you.
Yeah.
Well, let's let Miles go. You guys, thanks for showing up. It really means a lot. And any other questions, just email me and we'll get everything straightened out before our next meeting and get some more people on board. What do you think?
Yeah. Well,
Yeah, we should.
We need to
You know, Carl, what I want to share with the group, at one point, I feel that if we want to get together in person, you know, socially distant at the school and talk it over like a couple of weeks before the next meeting, let's do that. It's great to see faces and you know, just talk amongst ourselves.
Yes, yeah, you sent that email a couple days ago, and unfortunately I was busy this afternoon. But like you said, if we can just get together a week or two ahead of time, that'd be
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah.
I'll be happy to go down to the field and meet with you guys again. Actually,
Yeah, it would be
I'm
great.
curious to see what's going on down there.
Yeah, could throw some
I haven't been
balls.
down there in a while.
It's a dog park.
All right.
It's a
So,
dog park.
yeah, we could schedule a head meeting in order to go over some more points and maybe invite people that would be, you know, that actually might show up. Let's put it that way.
And maybe we can get signage at that time, maybe for Miles.
There's that part too.
Yeah.
Who has the signs?
I've got one. Terry's got one. Carl's got at least one.
I've got one. Jerry Denton's got one. I think that's it.
No, I've got one. Yeah.
Somebody got one stolen. So yeah, so that's 1, 2, 3, mine is, yeah, that's 3,
So
4.
5.
Jerry Denton has one, and I think,
Does Wolfgang have one?
no,
No, because I put it up by
Joe
his.
Whittington? Does
Yeah,
Joe Whittington have one?
Jerry.
Joe. I don't know.
I mean,
Yeah, Mr. Denton has one. He's the one that puts it out at the end of, right by my house, where Valley View, or,
Yeah,
wait, no, it's West Slope Drive hits
yeah.
Canyon Lane, you know, going down towards the school. He's the one that puts that one out. You put your, Kent puts his out at the end of Canyon Lane going,
Sylvan Port and Canyon
right?
Lane.
I'm the guy that puts it out at the west end,
Yeah.
and Terry puts the one out where Valley View hits. And that's it. I think we only have 4. But
Enough.
we only need 4 of those. Like she said, we just need those,
Yeah.
those
Terry?
barcode ads just to stick them on.
Jerry, could you take a picture of your sign with like a ruler held up to the what you guys are talking about and email it to me?
Sure. Yeah, it's just our
Somebody.
sandwich signs. That's it. But yeah, we have 4 of them, so we need 8 of those placards that we would put Velcro on the back in order to swap them out until the wonderful day comes when we can meet back at the school.
Yes.
Anyway. So yeah, I will happy to do that for you, Miles. I'll take a picture.
Okay.
One I have out in my garage and take a couple pictures of the older signs, and we'll have some new ones made referring to the fact that we're meeting online.
Yeah, that sounds like a great idea.
All right, cool.
cool.
Great, guys. Well, it's good seeing you.
Hey, I
Yeah.
move we adjourn. Do I have a second?
You got a second.
All
Second.
aboard?
Wood.
All right, great to see you guys.
Okay,
See you later.
thanks, everybody.
Bye.
Hey Dieter.
Bye-bye.
Yes.
Yeah, if you need anything, any more information between now and the next meeting when you're going out talking to people, just email me and I'll get you what you need.
Yeah, that'll be great. Because my wife is she's the president of an association. It's called the West Slope Improvement League, which is kind of contained in a NAC, but they are better organized because they're much more concentrated around our neighborhood, and we have been successful using them as a conduit to communicate to the people who have who were interested in the sports field upgrade, because everybody kind of lives in this very close-knit neighborhood. So that is one recourse, but I think we need to get a little wider, because there's, I don't know what our current member, quote unquote, membership count is, but it's got to be more than 150 households. So if we can find a way to reach out to these folks in any way possible, I would very much welcome, your counsel and your advice. Because I don't want to bombard them, but I do want to make sure that they are aware of what we're doing here, and hopefully a few are going to participate.
Yeah, there's 3,267 households in your neighborhood.
Right, and from those 3,000, if we can get 100, that'd be fantastic.
Fantastic for what?
Well, just to tune in to what we're doing, and you can't say it often enough. You see it what's going on politically in this country. If people don't tune in, it's a shit show. Sorry, that's an ugly word.